Beijing. Today, China's capital is home to some 21 million people and is a vast metropolis of diverse peoples from not only all over China, but all over the world. There is archaeological evidence that dates the Chinese civilization back to the year 2400 BC, and Beijing contains much of that history, from its houses and waterways, many city walls, public buildings, and of course, the famous Forbidden City. The influence of this history can be seen and felt everywhere in Beijing. But there is one historical site in Beijing which rivals all others and has become the unofficial mascot for not just the city, but for the country. That is the Great Temple of Heaven, or as it is more accurately known, the Altar of Heaven. Built almost 600 years ago, this unmistakable complex with its remarkable architecture has made it one of the most recognizable religious sites in the world. The complex of the Altar of Heaven covers a staggering 2.7 square kilometers, making it the largest religious site on the earth. The Altar of Heaven was built and dedicated to the worship of Shàng-Dì, and yet within the entire complex there is not a single image or idol of Shàng-Dì. Speaking about the sacrifices and the worship services which were conducted at the Altar of Heaven site, the philosopher Confucius wrote, "He who understands the ceremonies of the sacrifices to heaven and earth would find the government of a kingdom as easy as to look into the palm of his hand." This site in Beijing that still stands here today is a tangible legacy of China's oldest religious practices, one that has lasted for more than 4,000 years, and it only ended recently in 1911. Not a single one of the 18 dynasties that ruled throughout China's long history failed in their obligation to worship Shàng-Dì. Although there were periods when portions of the ceremony were corrupted, the sacrificial system known as the border sacrifices was acknowledged by every ruling family, even as dynasties rose and fell. And even when the imperial capital was moved to Beijing in the year 1421, the worship of Shàng-Dì by the emperors in the border sacrifices were brought along to the new capital. The religious site is comprised of three main groups of constructions. The first, the Hall of Prayer for Good Harvest, and then the Imperial Vault of Heaven, and lastly, the circular altar mound. The Hall of Prayer for Good Harvest is a magnificent triple-tiered circular building. It is built completely from wood and yet without a single nail used in its construction. The hall is built on 3 levels of marble stone, and the roof is even 1 tier higher than the Emperor's Palace in the Forbidden City. This shows the supremacy which Shàng-Dì had in comparison even to the Emperor. It was at the Hall of Prayer that the Emperor would pray to Shàng-Dì for protection and a good harvest. Standing in the center of the complex is the Imperial Vault of Heaven. This is a single-tiered circular building, built on a single level of marble stone. This building is surrounded by a smooth circular wall known as the Echo Wall. In this building is a simple tablet with 4 characters on it, which read, "Supreme Lord of the Great Heaven." This is the only reference in the entire complex of who this site was built for the worship of Shàng-Dì. There are no idols or images. The ancestors just left these 4 simple yet significant characters. The last construction in the complex is the circular altar mound. This is the actual altar in the complex. This is the place where the sacrifice to Shàng-Dì would be made by the emperor during the border sacrifices. There is an undeniable link between the ancestors and Shàng-Dì, which has been embodied in the Altar of Heaven complex. The legacy of the Altar of Heaven will take us on a quest to discover who was Shàng-Dì and why was the worship of Shàng-Dì so important to the ancestors. Join me next time as we explore the ancestors.